the domain, negative 2 pi to positive 2 pi, this should also be in a bracket because both of those points there are included on your graph. Okay, so that is your domain and your range. Then I'm saying to you, after how much horizontal distance will both sine and cosine repeat its basic pattern? So we said that it has this repeating values, like it's starting from one point and it repeats like a cycle. So if I look at my function here, okay, I notice like, oh, it's going up, it's going down. It has this whole little curve that's coming, kind of forming a hill. So if I'm looking at sine, my green graph here, it's from 0, it goes up, it goes all the way down, then it hits 2 pi. If this pattern continues, it's going to rise up again, continue, and then rise down, and then again end up at 0, 0. So right here is your cutoff with your pattern, where it starts to repeat. Even the same direction here, like it's going down, then it's going up, then it goes back here, and then it's going to go back down, and then go back up, and then it's going to end up back at that 0, 0 again. So your pattern is continuing. Even for cosine, okay? Well, it started, went up, went down, went up. Your pattern is continuing continuously. That is oscillating back and forth. When we say that about your function, that's called the period of your graph. So that horizontal distance where the pattern starts to repeat, that represents the period of a function. And they say that because the patterns repeat. So if I'm saying to you, after how much horizontal distance will both sine and cosine repeat its pattern, the answer to your question there is 2 pi. Because again, for sine it went up, then it continued down. That whole entire curve shape there is one cycle. Not just to here, because it's continuing, it's going all the way back to where it started. Originally it went up. So to say like, oh, that's my one cycle, but when did your graph go down? Because that's the next step. So that whole entire thing is the period. So 2 pi, you can write that here. If I'm saying to you, your Regents love to ask what's the period of the function, you would just write 2 pi. All right. The next part of this, your classwork here, has you play around with a bunch of different trig functions, only with cosine and sine. When I'm asking you guys to graph, I want you to go ahead and use Desmos. So everything is already set up for you at this point because you adjusted it. You can just add a 3 and you'll say, I should already notice, wait, there was no 3. Notice that my highest point here is this. That's my highest point, which we already know from the table of values is 1. If I add a 3 in front, notice what happens. My highest point jumped all the way up here in between 2 and 4. Oh, that's ironic. It gave you a 3. If I change this to a 7, oh, okay, maybe not because that's not what my scale is going up to. If I change it to 6, notice my highest point jumps up to 6. You guys are going to draw some awesome conclusions. Please reach out if you have any questions. Have fun.